Good morning, everybody, and today we're going to talk about back to school thrift store shopping on a budget, whether or not it's possible to outfit your child under $50 for a school year, and I think it is. I've been doing this a while. In fact, I rarely go to regular stores to buy clothes for my son. So I'm going to give you my 3 best pointers on how to do this because I think it's completely doable. So let's just start out the gate with step 1. So step 1 is always going to be to find out where all the thrift stores are in your area, right? So it's not just your area you want to look at, it's also the areas surrounding, things that you don't mind driving to. So if it's a 25-minute drive, if it's worth it to you, if it's a good store, then by all means go. So what you're looking for in a good thrift store is plenty of inventory. So I have a Goodwill store that's very close to where I live, and I don't much like it. It's often very dirty and it's not very well stocked. I have a number of other Goodwill stores that I actually go to, and most of them are not even in the area. They're in neighboring cities. And so knowing your thrift stores is the first and best way to understand what you're going to be able to get on a, let's say, season to season basis. So you want to find out how they turn over their inventory and when they turn over their inventory, because that information is actually really important. And that takes us into step 2. You want to shop early and you want to shop often. Now, shopping often I think is pretty obvious. You want to go there a lot, but shopping early isn't quite what you think it is. So if you think you're going to go in July to find your kid's wardrobe for school, I'm telling you it's really not going to happen. You're not the only one out there shopping for thrift. So I'm telling you that shopping early typically means going in January or February or even March. Because what happens? You have the children coming off their back to school clothing in the fall. So you're talking back to school clothing, September, October, and November. And then the cold weather comes in. And so there are those clothes that the kids are starting to wear. And then Christmas happens and then they get clothes for Christmas, right? So now mom or dad is looking at the situation saying, okay, I got all these clothes that the boy or the girl doesn't fit in. I'm going to weed all these out and I'm going to send them off to Goodwill or to the whatever. And suddenly, by end of January, February, and March, you're starting to see a really nice selection of things that you would want for your child to wear for back to school. You're going to start February, March 2023 for September 2023. And then when you shop, you want to shop not just for your child's age, but at least 1 year to 2 years ahead of time. What I have found with thrift store shopping for clothes, time is an incredible luxury. It's not only an incredible luxury, it's very doable. It's very reachable for anybody. So if you're buying clothes for your child who's 6, for 7, and then for 8, what you're actually doing is you're actually going through the 7 and 8, knowing that they're not going to be wearing them. Now you've got the luxury of being very picky. So you don't have to have something for tomorrow or next week. And now you can go through, you can start looking at tags and you can start looking at quality and you can decide if it's worth your time and effort to take this item home. And not only that, once you understand the store's bargain days and how they work their bargains, then you shop on those particular days, and that makes it all the more better, because if you're going to find, say, a really gorgeous hoodie for $5, you're now on a day where it's half off and you're getting that sucker for $2.50. There's so much to say about this. It's unbelievable. If you're struggling in this economy, and a lot of people are, this is your best bet for outfitting your kid. So I'm not telling you to do something that I wouldn't. You want to know the store's bargain schedules, and this is the easy step 3. I think it's pretty obvious when you go in. Almost all the stores have a tag day, and the tag day starts out with, okay, pink tags today are 50% off. And then I don't know if they choose it randomly or if they have a particular color on a particular day. That might be something else you want to find out. We have a Savers out here where I'm at, and it's every Monday, it's half off everything in the store. This store is really, really big, and it's got an incredible turnover. I'm guaranteed to find something there no matter what time I go on Monday. And I've got a Goodwill in 2 neighboring towns that I shop, and they do the tag system. And the tag system simply is 50% off pink one day, 50% off yellow another day, and so on and so forth. If you're lucky enough to have somebody who qualifies as a senior citizen, and you got to find out what that age is, then you can get maybe up to 30% off any day of the week, no matter what day of the week you go in. So this is just basically how it works. It's really no more complicated than that. And it's really nice when you can find a store that is close to a much wealthier neighborhood. My son is outfitted in clothes from Nordstrom, because it's not uncommon for me to find something that is Ralph Lauren, Eddie Bauer. I'm more of enjoying the hunt. I have a shirt for my boy. It's called Volcom. The tag on it is Volcom, and apparently this is this boutique kind of place out in California where they cater to the skateboarding crowd. And I have this beautiful shirt I got my son into last year for his preschool photo shoot, which I did. And it's just a beautiful shirt, and I had to look it up, and I looked it up, and this shirt new. This shirt new for a 5-year-old would have been about $50-$60. I bought it for $3. And the thing is a shirt like that, children only tend to wear it maybe a dozen times, if that. So it's in such great shape. I'm actually literally seeing if I can sell it on Poshmark or ThredUp or something. Because the reality of that is if you're really smart, you know what you're looking for, and you know the labels, you know all the good labels, you can turn and sell them at a later date. And the reality of that is now you're just renting your kids' clothes. That's what you're doing, okay? If you don't mind the work, go for it. So the school my son goes to, it's a private school, and so they have a dress code, and a lot of parents think it's really strict. I went to a school like this growing up, and when I was going there, the dress code was insane. And it was a lot more relaxed than another school I had spent some time at. And I had to wear a dress every day, and the dress had to be below the knee. And the boys had to be in nice dress pants and decent shirts. So now I'm sending my child to a school much like this, and he's permitted to wear shorts. So I'm looking at this thinking, wow. Now the girls, they say, well, it's sexist because the boys are allowed to wear shorts, but the girls aren't. But the reality is like it's meant to be the best for what the students need. And the students do not need to be distracted by their clothing, and as a result, the school does not permit writing on the shirts. In fact, there's no t-shirts and no writing on the shirts, and I'm actually totally for this. And the reason being is it's very obvious when one kid shows up with the Jesus Saves t-shirt, right? And the other kid shows up with the Satan Rules t-shirt, and it's easy to just look at and say, look, you can't wear this to school. But the problem is you got those things that go right down the middle. Daddy's little princess. This kid's always in trouble sort of thing. And these things get really, really snarky. And now the teacher is, instead of spending the time doing the studies and the lessons, now she's trying to weed out whether or not this kid is okay in this shirt and this kid is not okay in this shirt. That becomes a problem because now it's going to look like one kid's getting picked up while the other one is always getting off. And the teacher doesn't need this. If you're paying a lot of money for a child to go to a school like this, the last thing you want the teacher doing is having to weed through the kids and decide which child is okay in which shirt. It's not her job. These things are actually very distracting, and you wouldn't think so until it gets into it, and then you realize that people have problems with this and problems with that. So if you eliminate it, you just eliminate that entire thing. Now the kids are just settling into their studies and doing their schoolwork, and it's perfect. This is how we're doing it, and I always outfit my child about under $50 every year, and I do it just by smart thrifting, just by keeping ahead of the game. This year I had overbought on the trouser end, but this year I kind of overbought on a lot of the shirts, which is fine because there's probably a third of them will go into age 6, and then another half of those will go into age 7 really easily. So I've got all that set up. I do have another number of pair of pants that are already age 6, age 7, that kind of thing. So they're in the waiting. When it comes to things like underwear, socks, and shoes, this is where, if you're comfortable with it, I'm not really with the underwear and socks. So I don't mind thrifting shoes every now and again. And if you're going to thrift shoes, then there are some considerations about cleaning them and what you're comfortable with. So I would always look for things that are really well made, are still in good shape, are not real muddied, and obviously don't stink. And there are probably ways you can clean these really thoroughly. I find a bunch of baking soda sitting out in the sun does wonders. So if you're up for thrifting shoes, then go for it. If it's something that bothers you, again, you do you. I then went and washed everything, and I ironed everything. And I did that because I don't want to worry about that the week when school starts. I just don't want to do it the week before school. I want to focus on having a few really good days with my boy, taking him out to the park. And so everything is done. Everything is ready. Everything looks fantastic. And yeah, about $40. That's what I spent this year. And that doesn't include the stuff I did last year. Stuff I bought last year that's carrying over. So it might actually be a little more if you were to add up the stuff that was brought over from last year. But then again, I'm not even sure you can. I don't even know. I was never an accountant, so yeah, don't. I was a music major at college. They taught me how to count to 4. So anyway, that's it for today. And if you guys have any pointers on how to do this, any way that you tactically and strategically handle back to school thrift store shopping for your child, I would love to know. Leave a comment down in the comment section. You know where they go. And hit a like and hit a subscribe. And I hope to see you back next time. So, bye.